Me. Oh, okay. It's recording.
I'm gonna just undo that for a second.
You undo it for a minute?
There we go. All right, so what would be amazing today is I feel like the stigma around mental health. And a lot of the conversations that I'm having now with moms are their biggest challenge is where do they find the time to take care of themselves or put something on the calendar for them, or they're inundated with, from wake up to children, babies, activities, and there's a mindset of there is no time for me and I am here for everyone else. So that is one interesting challenge that I'm seeing with a lot of moms. So I thought that it would be interesting tonight to just overall chat about, how can a mom's mental health impact her children's emotional and psychological development. So, Emma, with you as a beautiful mental health counselor, what would be an interesting way to open up this conversation?
Um, I I think that when we talk about moms and mental health and the impact, it is so closely tied to, I think what we think of as self-care, right? And so like one of my things that I try to get people to sort of wrap their heads around is like mental health is health. Just like self-care, like there's all different versions of it, but like down to the very like micro, like, speaking kindly to yourself.
Mm.
Um, you know, engaging in those little habits that build up to really big change, or like positive or, or negative, environments, because you become it. And so I think just like I have found when we talk about self-care, and I actually had someone, not a mom, but it was interesting nonetheless. When I talked about self-care, I brought up like mindfulness, things like that. And the response was, that's a luxury.
Mm.
And so when and to me, I'm like, no,
Wow.
that's a
Yep.
necessity to keep ourselves together and regulated and, fit, if you will. And so with self-care, I feel like I get the same response, like that it's all these big things where people think that they have to stop everything to engage in it. And like that can be really nice, right? At times, like we all need those bigger moments, but we can build in little things every day to be aware. It's like your placemats, right?
Mm.
Like having those conversations and not shying away from emotion, or, being okay as a mom, being emotional, being able to let, not like having necessarily like a complete breakdown, but like it's okay to be vulnerable. And if your child asks you about it or feels some sort of way, like that's okay. Make it okay.
Yeah.
Versus something like, oh, I don't want to cry in front of them, or like I have to be perfect and on and like having a good day all the time, which isn't life. So we have to do it in little ways and help, like the earlier we do it and can integrate that just into their language, the easier, it becomes.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it sounds so easy, right?
Yeah,
When
but it's so
I,
hard.
I mean, but we have to almost surrender and accept that one, feelings are human and we're actually okay and entitled to feel, and like our feelings are not wrong.
Correct.
And I feel like when we grow up with potential tough love and, you know, you're taught like, hey, what good is that going to do for you to feel happy, sad, or mad, like, or bad, right? Like, it was almost like, it's like sitting in a rocking chair. It doesn't get you anywhere. And so basically just move on. And, you know, there's something to be said about that. Like, don't sit in it and dwell in it. But there's also
Right.
something to be said about, well, we got to feel it first.
I love
Right.
the analogy you just used because I think it is so perfect. So to like flip that, you know, sometime like when you're in a rocking chair, you don't sit down anticipating going anywhere. You're
Mm,
soothing something,
mm,
yourself, a baby, you know, whatever it is. Like there is purpose in the, I'm going to say stillness. You're not still, but in the not moving forward, you know, or backward. You're not going outside. You're not escaping something. You're not, you, excuse me, maybe that's how you regulate your emotions, is that movement and that like calm, peaceful, like there is absolutely purpose in that. Just
yeah.
like, you know, sometimes like crying can be really hard, energetically, you know, like it's heavy, but like when you're done, you're like, oh, thank God I let that go. Right? Like that is your body's way of trying to like process and move through how you're feeling and all of
Yeah.
that struggle. Like it is so cathartic.
So again, I hear that and I absolutely agree. It took a
But
very long time to get there because it's almost like there was shame and guilt for
mm,
crying. There was shame and guilt for having any of those feelings. And so when moms now cry and we want to let it all out because we know our body needs to do that, but subconsciously maybe we don't, or unconsciously we don't know we need to do that. That, I
mhm.
mean, crying is cleansing of the soul, you know, in my opinion, in my experience now. But before, it wasn't. You're shameful, you're guilty, you're like, oh my God, why am I crying? Like, I shouldn't be crying right now. Like, I have food, I have water, I have a roof over my head, like, I have gratitude, right?
Mhm.
So it's almost like I felt shame and guilt for crying. And then
I work
and then
with
when someone finally gave me permission
mhm,
to feel and cry and have emotion, I was like, what? Like,
Wow.
it was like cracking the nut open
mhm.
and I just started oozing. And
I
that was,
literally have people say like you know, like I have people who are like, you know, I have a really blessed life. Like, you know, I have this and that. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And your feelings are still valid,
mm,
right? Like just because we have been like trained really to disregard if we have anything better or more or different than someone else, somehow that means we're not allowed to have feelings because it could be worse. Well, yeah, it could always be worse, but
mhm,
we still feel. And so there is certainly an allowing and understanding, like an education that comes with that. And I think that just like any other like sort of cycle breaking, like it's work because
mhm,
you're trying to undo, you know, what you know and what you've been
yeah.
taught and how you've existed.
Yeah, and not undo, because that sounds almost like a lot of work, but it's
Mm,
almost, to me, I would love to picture, like, again, because we're so iPhone and technically savvy these days, it's that software upgrade and we're
yes.
replacing,
A shift.
we're getting rid of all those old bugs and
Hmm.
that all those, like, you know, yeah, things that aren't working any longer, doesn't serve us,
Hmm.
and we're giving ourselves a software upgrade,
Yeah.
right? Like, so when we practice being now a new way, that's the neuroplasticity, that's the brain power, which is so freaking fascinating. And
Mm.
that's the neural pathways that we're creating. So we're breaking down the old highway system in the brain and we're creating new highways.
So
So
think
that,
about in that same, like using technology, like, let's say you change phones, or, God forbid, when the software upgrades like too much and everyone's like, I don't know where things are, right? Like, we'll learn, but we don't beat ourselves up for like going to press something because that's where it was, right? Like, there's a process where we're like, oh yeah, that changed. It's not there anymore. And I think when it's something tangible or physical or outside of us, we allow that, but we don't in general tend to give ourselves that grace. We get judgy, and why didn't you do this right the first time? And or we give up, when really it's like, no, it's okay. We're like just learning to press the button differently, or use a different app, whatever it is, but we have to be graceful with ourselves.
Yeah, I love that. So when one grows up with tough love, and to me, there was no grace. And I mean, I can honestly say that when I got injured, I knew I wasn't going to have any type of comfort, right? So there's something to be said about the resilience and the toughness and who I was molded into. However, I mean, when I tell you, I would visually think about, like, if I sprained my ankle or if I fractured my ankle and I was in so much pain, and I'm just trying to think back of like a time that I was actually really in pain. I actually said to myself, well, I haven't been shot. I'm not bleeding out of the chest. Like, that would really hurt. Do you know what I mean? Like, I almost gaslit myself.
Yep.
Like, that's crazy to me as I think back. And so when one grows up with tough love, and there is no grace, more or less, because I didn't know what that looked like. I don't feel like I had that a lot in my childhood. It's like, how do we now teach moms, or maybe we have to give them the permission to give themselves grace? Like, you have permission, my permission, Emma's permission, everyone's permission to give yourself grace. And that's where the self-empathy comes in, and the self-love and the unconditional love and the forgiveness for oneself.
Because when you don't know what it feels like, it's so hard. And like, along the same vein, sort of as what you're saying, like, I had a mom who did not know what to do with my emotions. And so she just decided that she wasn't going to deal with it. And so, like, literally, if I would be upset or cry, it was like, what do you want? And I even as a therapist, right, can tell other people, like, yes, like, let yourself feel your feelings. I still struggle to let myself feel my feelings or give myself the grace that I would give to others. But I also had the opportunity. I don't know if I feel like it helped me, but I remember listening to my mom at work on the phone with somebody, and they were like crying, and she was just so like kind with them. And she got off the phone, and I was so angry. And I was like, you give all of your patience and emotional whatever to like these random people, and that's why you come home and can't deal with me. I don't know that was true or not, right? Like, but as a 20-something, like, listening to her be so kind and so patient to somebody who was just like upset over something. And I'm like, but like, I don't get that.
Right.
I don't, like, I hide how I feel because the reaction is never good or comforting or
Wow.
so to like,
yeah, that makes,
to feel it, right? Like, so I know that wasn't, I don't even want to say okay, because it doesn't matter. It is what it is. But to know that I can feel my feelings, I can share my feelings, they won't be judged. And to know in my heart, to allow myself to have that release and surrender and just feel it takes work. and practice. And it like I feel like that's to know is easy.
Yeah.
To know, to believe, to feel it, to embody it takes practice.
Yeah. Wow. That is, I agree. That's a big one. There's something there. Okay. So this goes into when moms are not there, right? And they're still in this, oh, I don't know how to I don't want to open up another can of worms here.
Mm.
I want to stay on track. However, we have to go here, I think. So when moms are unconscious and they're not aware of their inner child, right? And they're
Mhm.
not aware of these triggering events in their adulthood and self-regulation and, oh my gosh, I just got triggered because this is something that I felt way back in time.
Yep.
When we don't feel and when we don't know how to regulate our central nervous system, right? And calm or reset the vagus nerve, which is a whole nother fun topic I'd love to get into.
Love that.
That is that creates an interesting dynamic. And I feel like then that doesn't allow that beautiful, safe space with the children, because now they're like, what you're saying, what we're all saying is, whoa, well, I can't feel either. Right?
Right.
It has to be perfect. I can't be
Mhm.
sad. I can't bring up to my parents, I had a bad day today, because there's not going to be any validation because they don't know how to regulate their own emotions.
Right. Or it's like I have heard parents tell kids or kids tell me that, kids talk about being stressed and their parents will respond like, you don't have anything to be stressed about. Like, all you have to do is go to school. Like, you don't have bills to pay. You don't like
Oh,
invalidating that. And I think that it's
Yeah.
interesting when you talked about being unconscious. I think the mode of expression and our beliefs about why or how we are receiving what we are receiving shape our story. And then that shapes how accepting or not we are of that. So like when you said being unconscious, in my head, the first thing I thought of was like, well, my mom knew. She chose to ignore because she had a crappy childhood. Why would she want to open that up, right? To address that her inner child was totally not okay. So on one hand, I can say it was a conscious choice to not go there, also a result of trauma. And so getting my mom to recognize her own mental health needs, not a thing. Not even gonna lie, I considered could I dose her just some antidepressants? How can I
microdose, just sprinkle it in. Yeah.
because she truly I was like, Mom, please go to therapy. Go to my therapist. I don't care. You've already met her. But there, I think part of it's generational for sure. But there was, that stigma still that
Yeah.
I just had to deal with it, right? She was accepting that I was a therapist, that I went to therapy, that other people, right? It was like oh, that happens over there. And that's okay for other people. But I could never. And I think that part of that's an ownership thing and a shying away from acknowledging that that might hurt. So there's the combination of the stigma and the maybe fear of having to feel that or face that. And then what will that do to them, right? Then it just
Oh, I think that
snowball.
that's it. It's once there's a conscious something there around, oh, this may be something, it is, I think, fear to oh crap, if I get in and I dig deep in here, what am I going to find? Right. And who am I going to be after this? Because then it's not, I guess maybe it would, I don't want to say ego, but I guess it could be ego, because
because there's negative too, but it's better the devil you know. right? Like this is who I've been, and I've held myself
Mhm.
together with
Identity.
these duct tape and, trauma, whatever it is. What will that look like? What will I do with myself? I will have to do something if I acknowledge it. And I have said to people, I'm like, they're just like, I don't, if I say something and I'm like, you feel like your heart is like the dam, right? Like it's going to
Mhm.
burst open and you are not going to be able to stop it. Like, I
Mhm.
promise you, I will not let you bleed out in my office. Like they're so afraid that they, like, once it opens, if they start, that they're not going to be able to contain it. And I think that, again, stigma, because then I'm feeling my feelings and somebody else might see it. And what if
Yeah.
I can't put myself back together?
So I think this would be a really good opportunity for, mom to come in and talk, maybe if you're open to it, your experience. Otherwise, we can keep going on different topics. But I think that, you said it perfectly, Emma. It's like, oh my God, I could never, right? Like way back in the day, generationally speaking, it seems that you were crazy to go to therapy. Now you're crazy not to go to therapy, right? I
Yeah.
mean, and at first, I feel like for some reason I've always been seeking. Like I'm always like, there was a part in me that's like, this isn't right. Like this isn't normal. There's something that is just off, right? And there's no right or wrong. It just maybe didn't work for me. And I'm like, I've been always seeking. What is the answer? What are the answers? It needs to be different. And I'd skip into therapy, right? Like, but I feel like also I went to the first grade guidance counselor, like my mom and I had really big fights. We talked about it before. And it was a coping mechanism. Like I got angry, I got control. It was better than being hopeless and sad that I wouldn't see her for another week. And so that was my coping mechanism. So as hatred or malicious as it seemed, it was actually my protector. And so my point is I was skipping into therapy later on in my life because I was seeking. But for somebody else, that's a big, like, that's almost shame and guilt. Like there's something wrong with me if I'm going to therapy. Like I could never. And I think that, that is definitely shifting. I think that there's this big movement now. People even going to marriage counseling before they're even married. Like that's cool. That's actually cool. I actually dig that. So yeah, Mom, I don't know if you want to, if this is resonating with you or if you want to chime in any way. I feel like I cut you off a couple times because I heard you wanting to say something in the background. And no,
No, I don't
pressure.
really,
Yeah, no pressure.
I don't really have anything to add right at the moment.
Yeah. And when I'm speaking about tough love, Mom, I'm talking about clearly like, being over at my dad's, getting injured, not getting the comfort I needed. I'm talking about like physical injuries. I don't remember actually having a physical injury with you.
No, we didn't.
Yeah. I mean, I actually do remember taking a nap on the stairs outside, and I feel like I rolled off the stairs because I fell asleep on the stairs and I rolled off, and I feel like I gave myself a black eye, but that's like, that was my
No.
undoing. Yeah, I did.
I don't remember that.
It was funny though.
Huh.
No, so anyway, I just wanted to let you know.
So I want to add something to what
Yeah.
you were saying. Like, so when we talk about generationally, like I think of my mom's generation and her siblings, right? Like the only people that got help or sought anything out, it was addiction based,
Right.
or like, you didn't go to the doctor unless, you were dying. Right? Like there wasn't, like, that was the like acceptable thing.
Mm-hmm.
You could have substance use issues, addiction, need help, or you could have like heart problems or something, but like to go regularly and to just to take care of yourself, for her family and for like what I saw of her, that was there was stigma around that too. And so with mental health is health, and we'll avoid doctors too, for our own whether we gaslight ourselves into telling, saying it's not that bad or whatever it is, like it runs deep.
Yeah, I agree. And
I,
you're right. It is
I,
addiction.
I think my mom wishes that she had gotten into some sort of therapy, but her mentality was always, if you don't want anything repeated, keep it to yourself. And that included, going to therapy and sharing. And so.
But that's shame and guilt. I hear
It
shame.
is.
I hear shame and guilt in that. And that's, I mean, at the end of the day, that's suppressing any type of emotion, which we all know when we do too much of that, that is to me creating massive disease in the human body physically, because the negative energy gets stuck.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
And then somehow people decide that they like, maybe that's what they deserve. Right. So then they're like judging themselves because I didn't ask for help, or I couldn't ask for help, or, good old Catholic guilt. Right.
Or
like
the worth. I'm not worthy. I'm not even worth this. I'm not worth having good health, or I'm not worth
having someone spend the time or acknowledge that my feelings matter, or that I experience this thing and like I have emotions about it.
Yeah.
There's something that has come up lately that I think, speaks to the topic of mental health and stigma, is this like this double-edged sword, where like on one hand people will say like, I understand, right, that like whether someone has depression, anxiety, ADHD, whatever it is, and they're like, yes, I'm supportive and will be accommodating and whatever that is, and then in the next breath, talk about how they need extra breaks, or they struggle to manage their time, or whatever it is. And it's like there's this piece of trying to understand or be accepting of something that A, you have not experienced, B, you cannot see, and C, maybe doesn't align with what you think you know. Because all three of us could have ADHD and it present differently, or be depressed, but our symptoms look different. Our day-to-day looks different. And so, like when somebody says like, oh, I have a heart condition, right? Or I had surgery or whatever it is, like most people don't really question it. They don't have to say like, oh, that doesn't exist because I didn't have a heart problem. But the stigma of mental health is almost like that it's not real, or like if I haven't experienced that, then it must not be real.
Yeah, completely.
Or if I experience it this way, what you're saying isn't true.
There's no blood test to determine your mental health. So it's all in how you relate and how you explain it to your mental health provider.
But having other people then be supportive or understanding, because they'll say they're understanding or they want to be supportive, but their actions, like because they don't know how to process that, or to accept or understand something that they just can't know because they don't have or haven't experienced it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
I find that in my family with myself. Nobody ever says, how are you doing? Or, can I do anything for you? Or do you need anything? Or just, how are you doing? Never, nobody ever. And so.
And it's hard to like, sometimes we have to have somebody ask us that because we can't share it. And I don't know why, right? Like it could be right here, like front of your brain, on the tip of your tongue. But unless somebody asks you directly, you can't be the one to say it. And I don't know why.
You don't want to be a victim. You don't want to come across as being a victim.
Right.
I certainly don't. And I always present my best foot forward so that nobody would maybe detect that there was anything, you know?
Right.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you're also, I feel, Mom, you've conditioned everyone. You have showed up sometimes inauthentic and put your mask on, right? We have multiple masks. Today, I'm going to be the people pleaser. Today, I'm going to be the perfectionist. Today, I'm going to show up and be there for everybody else and not me. Like, there's so many different masks that we wear on a different, basis. And Landmark taught, I feel like, both of us, what does it truly look like to be authentic and to have that real, raw nature. And it's honestly, I think it's personal preference, and it's, what are your values? And if, I mean, we have to also know our family, and sometimes they don't even know how to regulate their own emotions. And
No,
so
I know.
honestly, I feel like sometimes it's not self-righteous, but if people are already at a different level or they have a different language, we can all be speaking English, but it's different English,
And
kind
I
of like,
think along those same lines, like wearing the mask, it's like we do it to ourselves almost, right? Like if someone, like I hate the question, is there anything I can do to help? Well, in my head, I'm like, no, I need to take care of this. Like, so I'm just like, no, I'm okay. Or like, if I think of something, I'll let you know. But inside, I am drowning. But because I don't, like Bunny said, I don't want to be seen as a victim, or I don't want to seem not put together or not okay. Like I show up in a way that says I'm okay, but then I'm also upset when somebody doesn't like acknowledge or ask about like if I'm actually okay.
Yeah.
Because I think
My
there's
mother,
also like the platitude, of like oh, how are you? Fine. Like, do you really want to know? Because that answer will be different than the like
yeah.
passing in the hallway.
My
Mhm.
mother, I was diagnosed with chronic depression in my early 40s. And my mother's been by my side through many, ups and downs and hills and valleys. But she's 98 now. And she said to me the other day, she said, "Are you depressed?" And I said, well, no, because I'm on medication. I said, but I've been on medication since my 40s. And she says, well, you sure do have a good way of covering it up. This is my
Mhm.
own mother, and so
It's interesting what they notice or when they notice. Because you can like, there are times when it's like I'm on meds, right? But like also like I still feel lower than like my baseline.
absolutely,
Or
absolutely.
or for them to notice, or like they notice when you're okay, but they think you're depressed. Or I had my mom ask me once about my best friend, and I was like, I'm a therapist. And why is my mother asking me if she's okay?
What about
I
me?
missed it. But I asked my friend and she wasn't okay. And I'm like, it wasn't even at that point about that she never saw me. I had accepted it at that point. But now
Mhm.
she sees her. And I'm like, but I missed, like, who's on first?
Oh,
Yeah.
your mother didn't notice it with you, but she noticed it with your friend.
Right.
No.
Well, she just couldn't deal with my emotions
Right.
regardless. But like, she asked me one day, like, if Danielle was okay or if she was depressed or whatever. And I'm like,
But Emma is saying that she hangs out with her best friend all the time, and she missed,
yes,
and
I
her
was living
mom,
with her at the time.
right, her mom had seen something that was not,
Oh, okay,
uh,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just goes to show, even when you're with someone every day, the signs could be maybe very subtle, or maybe we're in our own head and
Mhm.
we're unconscious, and we need to show up with more intention and be awakened and conscious about everything and everyone around us. And that's just a whole different way of being. And that's just what this, I feel like, new movement is, of, truly being in tune with ourselves. And then that allows us to create space for others. But when we're so hyped up and we're on this hamster wheel and we're, doing everything, and, I'm totally at fault and I've been there, it's, you miss a lot. You miss a lot. And I think there's a lot of parents today that are overstimulated. They're
Mm.
working a bazillion jobs. They're taking on a bazillion activities for their kids. They're just on a freaking rat race hamster wheel. And sometimes it just, things are missed. And I just almost did it the other day. I was so excited to, finally showcase to the girls, like, hey, this is maybe our new place. And I've been holding out for months and I was so excited and I want to share it with you. And, I was actually videoing, and I was so into my head about the new place and about where, like, I wanted to give them a tour. And Charlie behind me, you can hear her like chirping, like, mommy, it smells really familiar. Mommy, it smells. Mommy, I smell someone. Mommy, it's not a thing, it's someone. And I didn't hear it. I just kept saying to, like, solution, like, oh, I know we got to open up the windows. It's a little musty in here. Like, we got to get some essential oils, and this was all on narration. Like, I could replay all of this. And then I stopped and I got down at her level and I was like, what? And she goes, I smell Papa. I smell him. And she just bawled her eyes out and, like, buried her head into my chest. But imagine if I had missed that, like, it actually makes me emotional.
I
There's so
bet.
many moms that are so fast and they're so busy, and these children are being, and it's emotional for me because I think I've been there. And yeah, it's so nice
You've been
when
there yourself, and then you almost missed it with your child.
I've been there as Charlie. Like, hey guys, anybody, like Bueller, anybody, like, I got something to say. I have something to feel, like, anyone. And it's just, yeah, it's isolating, it's lonely. And
Oh, I'm
the
sorry
fact that I,
for it.
the fact that I almost missed that with Charlie, it's such a majorly crazy, like, spiritual event. I'm just happy that I caught it at the last second, but replaying the video was extremely disturbing because I was very on an agenda, mission focused. And then I took a step back, I slowed down, and I literally physically got down to her level. And she just buried her head into my chest and started bawling and saying, I smell Papa. And it was like a spiritual visit. I mean, it was really cool. So, anyway, that's just, if we
I
can be more conscious and more intentional and in tune with ourself, I think we'll all slow down, which will allow that beautiful safe space around us. And the energy is different and everyone's aura is more chill. And I think we're also overstimulated, that we have to take a moment and literally take a step back and slow it down. And life is actually so much better when we're, to me, in that space.
wish we could, like, rescue, not rescue, but, like, when you get to a moment and it's like I could say what is true, my truth, or I could ignore, placate, I'm fine, or just not say anything. And I wish, like, at that moment, I almost think like barrel of monkeys, right? Like, everybody's just like, we're reaching and it's like, no, the door's open, say it anyway. Like,
Yeah.
whatever you just buried, like, say it, feel it,
Mm.
just to one person, like, because until there is some momentum in that, and, like, because when you feel shame or believe that there is shame in your existence, in telling somebody how you feel or that you're struggling, until you can say it and see that there isn't a, like, negative or a dismissal or a judgment, like we have to learn to do that. But how do we do that if someone's not, like, catching us in the moment? And like, say it anyway. Like, I saw it in your eyes, and you went to say something, say it. it's okay, because we'll just convince ourselves that like I just won't say anything. And then it's an internal conversation, right?
Mm,
That just further suppresses and convinces ourselves to suppress. Like
yeah,
we
that
need a
is
lifeline.
with the current
So
society.
so unhealthy.
It's
Yeah.
so unhealthy. And I think just with the norm and the society of where it's at and massive social media and major comparison, I mean, it's getting worse with, our young girls. I mean, and boys, but I have two young girls. And to me, at a young age, they need to understand self-love and worth and empathy and compassion. And, starting off tonight, you said speaking kindly to yourself and positive incantations like I am brave, I am strong, I can do this, I am of worth, I am precious, right? Like that is so crucial because when people are walking around in society, all we do is judge. Like humans are
Mm.
traditionally known for judging. And we have to make a conscious effort to, one, first, not judge ourselves. That's the grace, that's
Mm.
the self empathy, that's the self love and self compassion. That in turn then finally allows you to no longer judge anyone else and give them that space and grace.
We have
However,
to get the moms, right? Like they need the lifeline. Like because how can you do for somebody what you don't, I mean, theoretically we can sort of, but like if they don't feel it, then it's not authentic. And they didn't get it. So how, right? Like
um,
getting
How are they going to do that for others?
right. It's like giving them the
well,
space,
that's
the
the
grace.
point.
That's where I want to like reach out and just be like, no, say it. It's okay.
That's the point. This is why this mental health and the stigma around mental health is so freaking important because generationally, right, we had the Great Depression, there was war, like parents were just like, kids, you got to help out, you got to do chores, like perfection, we can't miss a beat, we have stress, like finances to cover. And I feel like kids were just invalidated. I feel like it was just this domino effect, generationally speaking. I feel like traditionally it's just a domino effect, but I feel like with the Great Depression and the wars, I mean, it was really a trickle effect of
Mm.
negative um invalidation, just everyone say
Like survival versus thriving.
scarcity. Yes, survival and scarcity. And there's no room for in the brain, which is so freaking fascinating. Again, there's no room for self empathy when the brain is in fight or flight. When the
Can't do it.
vagus nerve is in fight or flight,
Wow.
there's no room for empathy. And it's like, holy crap. So then, if we can down regulate and reset our vagus nerve, that allows, it gives me chills, that allows the space for empathy and self love and compassion and curiosity. So that's the golden, that's the $1 million like golden ticket. How do we do that? That's it. That's why we're here. It's awareness
And caring.
and permission, giving you
Yeah.
permission that yes, you may feel, you are human. It is okay. You may validate yourself. You don't need
Mhm.
anybody else's validation or permission. You may get yourself a journal and write, I feel this and I'm fucking entitled. Excuse my French.
I I I love it. So
Courtney.
there's this kiddo um on, I think she was like my first client on Monday, but a huge shift since I started working with her. But so now we're working on positive self-talk because your body knows what you're thinking. And when you say, and so I gave her a
Mm,
like a list of affirmations, and I was like every day, and she just like she looked at them and she looked at me and I was like, listen, you don't have to believe it right now. I said, I am giving you this so that you don't have to try and come up with affirmations to try and convince yourself that what you're saying is true. I'm telling you, here are the things. You are these things, right? And it's like, I'm brave, I'm kind, I am worth like, and I said, if it might feel really false. It might feel really uncomfortable. That's why I don't want you to have to think about what it is. I just want you to read them. Read
Yeah.
them to yourself. Then look in the mirror. Eventually, say them to, right? Like, it's like getting that practice, because when it feels fake, when it feels like we're being an imposter for self-love, how, like, it's hard to like let it truly like sink in and like attach. And so I really do think that that's one of those, like, you got to fake it till you make it, and you just
Yeah.
keep going until like one day you're saying it and you're like, oh, like, no, this is real.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's,
I
yeah.
I try to go to the beach, 3 or 4 times a week and walk, and I find myself saying, um, I just lost my train of thought.
You say, I love you, you're perfect, you're okay, you're safe. You say
No,
something.
but I say,
When you're walking the
every
beach, you're,
day,
yeah.
every day in every way, I'm getting stronger and stronger. Every day in every way, I'm getting happier and happier. Every day
Mm.
in every way, I'm getting whatever it is. But I say it over and over while I'm walking
It's
every
amazing.
day that I walk, and it's really helpful.
Oh, absolutely. And you're walking more. You're actually not just doing it once a month. You're doing it more or less every day now. So you're moving your body, you're changing your physiology, you're getting into peak state. And when you
Yeah,
say this to your brain, your whole energy vibration frequency is actually rising. Then
yeah.
that penetrates elsewhere. I mean, energy is energy and it's a thing.
And
And
it feels really good when I say it, and it's so simple, but every day in every way, every day in every way, I'm getting this, I'm getting that, I'm,
Mm,
feeling this, I'm feeling that.
yep.
And it just makes me giggle and laugh when I'm walking.
well, and so by
Amazing.
walking, when we talk about like EMDR, right? Like, that is, it's not a reprocessing like state, but you're, when you walk, one foot then the other. So you are literally like embedding that in your brain and helping, like, doing the motions that would help soothe your brain or replace those negative thoughts. Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
EMDR, remind us the acronym for people that are
oh,
not familiar.
eye movement desensitization reprocessing. So originally used with soldiers with like PTSD, but there's like 40 years of research and have found so many other things that it's helpful with. But it's based on like REM sleep. When you look at somebody and their eyes, they're sleeping, but you can see their eyes moving underneath. So it's like eye movement activates one side of the brain and then the other, and it can process trauma. But there's lots of different ways.
Wow.
And even like walking, swaying, like where you can sort of self-soothe. It's not the actual therapy,
Mm,
but the back and forth, you're stimulating one side of the brain and then the other. And so when it's like a slow or
mm.
rhythmic, movement, it's activating both sides of your brain.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
While we're on this subject, I feel like we could do a quick exercise that I learned on how to reset the vagus nerve. So you probably already know this, but it's so easy. So we just need like literally 2 minutes, maybe. So if you guys want to join me, so you can sit up nice and tall in your chairs, and ideally your feet should be on the floor ergonomically, and bring your shoulders up to your ears like really tight, and like clench your whole body, and then just like let go, and then breathe in, bring your shoulders to your ears, squeeze, 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 like your face, like all your muscles, and then just let it all go. And what we want to notice here is when you look to the right and you look to the left and you feel your neck muscles, like, are they tight? Where are you feeling potentially some tense, some tightness? So that's the first of just getting kind of grounded and situated. And I love that you just yawned.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
so we put our head, we take our right hand, put it on your head, and then tip your right ear to your right shoulder, And then just slightly, don't kill, like, don't really truly pull too much, just a little bit so you feel that neck muscle. And then you look up to like the left corner as high as you can.
Your whole head or your eyes?
So your head stays straight. Your
Okay.
ear is actually, your ear is parallel to your shoulder, but your
Okay.
eyes go up to the left corner, the opposite corner as high as you can see. And you want to just keep this stretch for like 30 seconds and take some big deep breaths through your nose and out through your mouth. And just hold this and keep looking up. So Sophie Trudeau, the First Lady of Canada, taught us this last weekend. And this is resetting the vagus nerve. And then you can come back to the middle. And then we want to do the other side. So then you take your left hand on your head, tip your head over, left ear to your left shoulder. And then you want to take your eyes all the way up to the right corner as much as you can, as high as you can. And again, feel that like stretch in your neck, just not pulling too hard, just a little bit, like almost like gravity doing its thing. And then looking up to the top right. And then again, taking deep breaths through your nose. Out through your mouth. And maybe even noticing where you're breathing. Is it in your diaphragm or is it in your belly? So maybe try to switch it in from deep breath in through your belly. Out through your mouth. And then come back to center. And now look right and then look left. Do you notice the difference? Oh, Emma's yawning again. It's amazing.
I had learned a different way, but I like this one better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wasn't that cool?
Yeah.
I mean, I have so much
Very.
more. I have like, it's so the easiest technique, and I have such a bigger range of motion. When I did this originally, I was like,
Wow.
wow.
So the one I had learned is only so like you turn as far to
Wow.
the right as you
Wow.
can until you not gas, but like have a deep inhalation or you yawn. And then you turn all the way to the left, same thing. And then when you turn back to the right, like your range of motion is increased. And yeah.
Oh, cool. I'll do
But
both.
I've had like 5 yawns and I only get 2 out of the other one.
Oh,
So
that's great.
I love it.
Yeah, oxygen. It's like literally resetting your vagus nerve. So then oxygen is going up to your brain. It's amazing. You're having like a physical reaction, which is cool.
So the first part of Courtney, the first part of your exercise, all I was thinking is, oh, the arthritis in my neck is just it's just really killing me. And then I did the second half of the exercise, and when we were all done, I mean, I can literally turn my head without any pain. I swear to God, on a stack of Bibles.
Wow.
It cracks, and I know it's there, but it's literally
You can do this as many times as you choose throughout the day. There's no overkill.
It's sore to touch, but it's not, I don't have that stiffness and that ache, that arthritic ache when I try to turn my neck. I mean, when I drive, I struggle, but I mean, it's amazing.
You're welcome. How easy
Thank you.
that? Yeah.
Thank you.
I was so excited when I first tried that, and like that was cool, and it was so quick and easy. I mean, we need all of those we can get. So
wow.
So that's the vagus nerve. So that vagus nerve, Emma, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that it like runs up the back of your head. I want to say
so
like
it comes out of your medulla oblongata, and it goes down your spine through like your chest, into your stomach, into your intestines.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool.
So it starts in your neck, Emma?
It starts at like the base of your
Base of
spine.
your head? Oh, the
Mhm.
base of your,
Or
the top of
you're
your
right.
spine.
The top of your spine, base of wherever your medulla oblongata is. Every time I say that, I think of Adam Sandler and Waterboy.
Yeah, I remember. Adam Sandler's from our hometown,
Oh,
Manchester,
that's amazing.
Hooksett, New Hampshire. Yeah. So that's cool. So again, I think just to reiterate that vagus nerve, and maybe you can go into something here, because this would be cool. But like as a mom, when Charlie and a lot of other moms have probably experienced the same thing, but it freaked me out the first time it ever happened. So I thought she had like slammed her head into the Peloton bike in the garage, and my big Great Dane, like I saw it from afar, and I'm like, oh no, did the Great Dane bust her into the Peloton bike? Because she was like this on the ground protecting herself so Mona wouldn't step on her, which I thought was great, because it's almost like she hit the Peloton bike and then fell, but I didn't see any of it. I just saw her laying on the ground like protecting herself, so I scooped her up, and it's almost like when I scooped her up, she just went limp, and I thought she had a concussion.
Oh.
And so I called 911, because when she came out of it, like her eyes rolled in the back of her head, and I put her on the bed, and I was like, oh my God, Adam, call 911. We called 911. Vitals were amazing. Eyes weren't dilated, like nothing. So 2 weeks later, soccer happens. She literally like ricochets off the ground, trips, ricochets off the ground, knocks the wind out of her. You could see she couldn't breathe. She was like, right. So like I'm a parent running out, scoop her up again to get her off the field so the kids could continue to play. And she did the same freaking thing, like just went limp, like eyes rolled in the back of her head, and she went limp again. And I'm like, oh my God, not again. We got to call 911.
Almost like she fainted.
So the paramedic dad comes over, and I'm like, oh my God, we got to call 911. He's like, no. He's like, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. This is normal. It happens to kids a lot. It's almost like their body, their vagus nerve goes into too much trauma that their body can't handle it. So they pass out. I was like, that would have been good to know. Like, just maybe, like, where's the book that says, these are things that could occur, and here's what it is, just in case.
Funny enough,
where's that book
that I was talking about before, with the affirmations, we did a vagus nerve reset thing on Monday. And so I like Googled vagus nerve, or I don't know where I was reading it. It might have been like Mayo Clinic or WebMD. I don't know. But this child has a history of getting ill and then like passing out. And we literally were reading through the symptoms of like vagus nerve, like what it can control, and fainting is one of, like, when I read that, both of us were like, what?
Yeah.
I just learned that on Monday.
So vagus nerve it's amazing. So, I mean, the vagus nerve, central nervous system, nerve, central nervous system. I mean, they got to be correlated. And
there's a whole modality and like theory of like mental. Please relax. Of mental health, like treatment, and it's called polyvagal theory. Like it is all about vagus nerve.
Yep.
I shall research.
Cool. So that in itself, just to again circle back, conclusion, when our vagus nerve is out of whack, not when it's in fight or flight, that's when the brain is in sympathetic versus parasympathetic. There's literally no room for empathy or compassion or self-love. And so when I heard that, it was, again, massive popcorn moment. So when we can just take it in if the entire nation, the entire world, 8 billion people could do that exercise on a daily basis, this world would be a better place just from that little exercise.
Amen, sister.
Right? I mean, maybe we should just start doing like
I mean, some people are so cranky because they've got a pain or an ache or something. I mean, I was a perfect example of having more range of motion in my neck after doing that exercise.
Yeah, and imagine if you could just sit there, if you're working at the desk, or even if you're just in the car, if you're at a red light, well, maybe not
Yeah.
in the parking lot after the grocery store,
Yeah,
before you drive home.
not at a traffic light, no.
No, I reframe. So in a parking area, in the parking lot. So, but imagine if wherever, whenever we can think about it. I mean, imagine what our body then could do. Then your body can relax, but we got to start somewhere.
And
So
rest is so hard for people sometimes, like I can be horizontal, but that doesn't mean my mind has stopped. And I think like for me, like I am exhausted now. And so it like literally my body was like, oh, okay, you can relax.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll just end there then. Maybe we should do it one more time.
I'm all about it.
Yeah?
Sure.
Let's do it one more time.
Okay.
All right. So now you guys got it, right? I'm like,
Yep.
love it. She's yawning again. We haven't even started. All right. So feet to the floor. Put your shoulders up to your ears really, 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 really tight. Scrunch your face, tighten everything, and then let it all go. And then one more time. Breathe in, scrunch your face, squeeze everything, shoulders to ears as best as you can. Let it all go. Now let's do same side. So we started right, yeah? Right hand, right ear to right shoulder. And now you're just taking your eyes up to the top left corner. And then you're just going to stare up there as maybe 30 seconds is all you need. And I would recommend trying to be present with your breath and breathe through your belly. And you can even put maybe your left hand on your belly and feel your belly breathing or like filling up like a balloon. And then continue to keep your eyes up to the top left corner as high as you can. Good. And then come back to center. Then we'll do the other side. So left hand on head, left ear to left shoulder. Don't pull too hard. Allow like gravity to naturally just take your neck and just, really have that nice stretch on the right side. And then take some deep breaths, but look up to the top right corner again. Maybe your right hand on your right, or right hand on your belly. And take some big deep breaths through your nose and fill your belly like a balloon. And then breathe out your mouth. And then come back to center. And then let's do the range of motion again. So right to left, very, very gently. I feel great. Maybe some shoulder circles. Maybe head back and then chin to chest, just very, very gently. And then left to right. So there it is. Resetting the vagus nerve. That was fun.
Very fun, very effective.
Good.
Courtney, when you like meditate, do you ever get like the sort of like center spin? Like where you're like, you're moving, but you're not making yourself move. Like literally that when I was the second time, like I had the like meditation spin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it felt really good.
Yeah, I mean, when I meditate, I'm extremely present to being still and just breathing. So I haven't experienced that yet, but I also am getting better with my elongated meditation practices. So I wouldn't say that they're very long at this point. So I'm working to
it doesn't for me, it's just like that's how I know where I'm at, right? Like I know I'm in when I can like feel the
Oh, cool.
like a vortex almost, like
I
the
love
Have
inside of a
that.
you,
tornado.
You're
have
creating.
you both, have you both gotten to a point where, um, you've meditated long enough to get rid of the chatter?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't try to get rid of it. I meditate with purpose. So like I have a question or I'm going somewhere or like visualizing it. I get really frustrated with myself if I try to, like, the closest I get to quiet is probably like EMDR, because it, like, the it's like you notice what happens, but you don't try to make it come and you don't try to make it go. And
Mm.
so it's like that noticing. But if I consciously try to like quiet my mind, it's like, haha, we're gonna be extra loud.
Yeah, yeah, I just have a lot of chatter,
Same.
and I can't seem to, I definitely have had some positive experiences for sure, but for the most part, it's just
I have a first.
noisy chatter.
Yeah, first of all, that sounds frustrating. Um,
It is.
I definitely remember being there. I think with practice, you'll be more comfortable sitting in the silence.
Mhm.
And there's this like, I don't even know, you almost like, because you become so uncomfortable, you end up breaking through the chatter. And then you get to a place of surrender and acceptance.
Mhm.
And then it becomes more free. But I was going to recommend, Mom, for maybe just guided meditation for you at first versus you just sitting in stillness and silence, just getting comfortable with and practicing the actual just practice of meditation. And that's, there's Calm app, Headspace. The one
Oh, I
I
know.
absolutely love, because sometimes I really just want to lay down and meditate. It's like my body's already tense. Like it's actually more uncomfortable for me to meditate sitting up sometimes, that laying down for me. And like Shavasana, your end pose in yoga, there's a yoga nidra, and yoga nidra is a guided meditation, extremely slow and very soft like this. And it's extremely monotonous because they'll say, do a body scan. And it's only like you could do 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But I was cynical at first because I'm like, oh gosh, I'm not sure if I can handle this. But once you get through the first 1, 2, 3 sessions, you'll actually crave it. And it's a massive central nervous system reset. And
Wonderful.
it's a power. It's like you're giving yourself this like turbo energy boost. And so it goes like, okay, body scan. Now let's start with your right side, right thumb, right pointer, right middle finger, right ring finger, right pinky, right wrist, right elbow, right? So you're basically not moving anything. You're simply laying there in Shavasana as this thing in narration guides you up one side, down the other, breathing through the right nostril, breathing through the left nostril. And it gets you into a mega meditative state. So Yoga Nidra, it's called. And you can probably find some on YouTube. I think there might be a Yoga Nidra app with like some trials in there, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or 20 and 30. So it's amazing. I'm forewarning you though, expectations wise, you may be like, oh gosh, this is mundane and monotonous, but it's the point to get you
Yeah.
into that meditative state.
Um, well, I mean, it's worth, I have done guided meditations before, but, um, it's basically the narrator replacing the chatter that's in my brain. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know as I ever reach the results that I want with either one.
Well, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. So when you maybe go in with intention and just give yourself and allow yourself grace, and if thoughts come up, then that's perfect. but
Yep.
just allow yourself to experience the entire thing. And it is what it is, whatever that is for you at the time. And as you continue to do it,
Yep.
it'll probably change and be different. So
it just made me think back to when I was doing step 4, and I could only come up with, like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 names of people that I might have a resentment towards. And then it was recommended to me that I just sit at the table with a lit candle, shut my eyes, and just meditate. And I was very committed. And an hour and a half later, I had over 100 names on my piece of paper.
cool.
And not all of those names needed to be addressed. They were just names that popped into my head, which I wrote down. But going back to, God, it was crazy to me.
It's amazing.
And that's what, that's what you can hope for when you meditate, to have thoughts and feelings come up that you don't normally think of, positive ones.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many intentions with meditation. We can calm our central nervous system. We can ask ourselves a question, like Emma, lighting a candle and asking yourself a question and looking at yourself in the mirror and sitting with yourself is pretty powerful. Like, is this intentional, right? Is this a towards move or is this an away move? Is this house truly incongruent? Is it authentic for me and my girls? Is it harmonious? And if it doesn't work
I've never heard of having a mirror.
hey, take it to the next level. You do
It's
you.
cool.
If sitting at a table with a candle, Mom, if that works for you, you do you. But sitting in front of the mirror with a candle, talking to yourself, like having a conversation with yourself.
I think I would giggle.
There's something about that. And that giggling is probably
Nervous.
It
Nervous.
starts out like kind of, for me, it's like, oh, this is uncomfortable. But at some point, I will always like find my gaze. Like I'm looking at me and there's a connection and you're just like, wow.
Yeah, I can see.
And when do we ever sit with ourselves, like, and actually, like, here I am, my best friend? Like, when do we actually just sit with a mirror of ourselves and like talk to ourselves like that? I mean, it's powerful.
Yeah, Emma, when I heard that, I wish I'm trying to think of the beginning of it. It's something like, I'm working on strengthening my relationship with myself because I am the best friend I will ever have.
Oh, I love that.
I know. And when I came to that realization, wow.
And I wish, and I think we've talked about this before, but like, step 4 is like solid. And when I struggle with something, I will call a friend and I'm like, walk me through this again. Like, how do I do this? And it is so useful for life.
Yeah.
Like to sit there with it and just like really, it's a gift, I think, to dive so deep.
Yeah.
And
well, that's, to me, forgiveness. And it's not forgiving the other person for them, it's forgiving the other person for us.
Right.
Because we're accepting and surrendering and choosing to no longer suffer. And when I thought years back, I was so confused, didn't understand the true purpose of forgiveness. I thought that if I forgave, that I would actually approve of the situation.
And it's not permission.
There's no approval. I can accept and surrender and free myself of the suffering, which is completely and entirely separate than approving of the situation.
Right.
Massive,
exactly.
distinction.
Right.
That's where I broke free. I was like, I left myself in the dust. Uh, so that was cool. But anyway, amazing. I think that's a really great ending. Although we forgot celebrations at the beginning. So I feel like we should maybe celebrate now, because why not? It's not perfection, it's expression. So
Are you still taping?
yes, we
Okay.
are. Yeah. So, I mean, we don't have to.
Oh, no, that's fine. I didn't know
Yeah,
if you
we don't
weren't.
have to. Yeah. It's
It's totally